could take me maybe a few days old as soon as she got out. I'm not sure exactly how soon that was. I know it was probably less than 2 weeks. And church attendance was impressed upon us. It's important. Even though you don't feel that well or you're tired, you get up and you go. Because it's important to have good habits to be there. First off, it's your witness, and secondly, you may miss out on some learning if you're not there. So my dad and my mom were both very active in the Lord's work, and they were introduced by the preacher who married him. I gave a testimony not long ago. I'm trying not to do too much because I have a lot, and they didn't give me a whole lot of time. And I'm quite a talker. I taught kindergarten for 30-some years in Clarence, and I started teaching them in California and taught second grade for a year. So I expect maybe a lot of my students when I have them, because I use my teacher voice and I use my teacher skills. So I feel like God guided me there. I was going to be a veterinary when I first started out in high school and stuff, but then I found out it took 8 years to do it. So I decided to become a teacher. But I've always taught Sunday school or VBS and youth group, always been there or taught it. And the music that we had was very, very important too. A lot of our songs related right to the Bible. So music is really, really important because it helps you remember. If you think how you learn the ABCs, it goes to a song. So music in your head helps you learn verses and helps you learn things about God too, about the Bible. So music's been a real important part of my life. I was involved at school, but we had fantastic schooling. And at school, we were even allowed to talk about God and Jesus at school. In fact, our Christmas programs were quite often based on Jesus. Now today they don't hardly let you do that. So you have to pick up all you're going to pick up at church. And when I was younger, when we went to church, all the way through, we're 2 hours on Sunday morning, a minimum, Sunday school and church, and you were always there. And 2 hours on Sunday night at youth group and church again, and we were always there. So it's important to always be there, to get yourself there, no matter how you're feeling. But then for our VBS was 2 weeks, including Saturday, not Sunday. And then our church camp was amazing too. It was not just an all fun deal, it was a lot of learning. So I have been extremely blessed through my life, and I just have no excuse not to serve God. And I was baptized at about the age of 9 with my friend, and I were baptized together. So after school, I went to Lincoln Christian College for 1 year, and then I came back to Kirksville and went to college there for 3 years to become a teacher. And I got married after 2 years. I was 19, almost 20, and we were married 54 years, and he passed away in 2019. So I have 2 children, a daughter that was born in California, Carol Will. She just retired from 32 years of teaching 4th grade mostly in Clarence. And then I have a son, David Holder, who is just a poor guy, lives just next door really now. So it's very, very helpful to me. Both of them are really, really good. I hope I'm not leaving some things out because, like I said, I had a hard time figuring out what to say and how to say it in such a short time. It's really, really important that you get some good resources. I know you guys are probably way into computers, way more than I am. But this is just a brief example of some books, some Howie's Handbook and the dictionary, and that they would have some things that would help you out, help your studies. A study Bible is great too, but these are some I have in my Sunday school class. And I have these because it doesn't seem like very many carry their Bibles to church. And plus we want to make sure that everybody has a Bible, so we hand these out to the kids. Now, we used to hand them out in kindergarten, but then we found out, after kindergarten, we found out they didn't usually use them as much, so now we hand them out at 3rd grade, because that's when they're gonna start at church camp probably. Well, they go a day or two before that, I know that now. But that's when they really get into the reading. And it's my brother and my sister and my friends at church were a great influence. I feel like I'm jumping around, I'm sorry about that. But, that it's important to have good friends. It's important to associate yourself with good friends that will help to teach you about Jesus, or that will influence you and encourage you to work for Jesus. And I keep telling my kids, the most important reason to get a good education is not just so you can get a good job, but it's so you can read the Bible for yourself and decide what God is telling you. So you don't have to believe what I say. You don't have to believe what any of the other adults say. You need to learn to read the Bible for yourself. So get yourself a good Bible. Get yourself a study Bible. Get one in a print you like. I use NIV. I know that now they use a lot of other versions, and it's okay to read from different versions. But it's just imperative that you get a good Bible and even a study Bible. This one's not a study Bible, but I have some. This is one of the things I like to use in my classroom with the kids, because it tells about the books of the Bible, and I have a few of these that you can look at if you want to. I didn't bring enough to hand them out, but it tells about each book of the Bible. It's just super important to get into the Bible. And
where do you get those little?
These
Where'd you get those at?
Oriental Trading.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really, really good. We use them when we have extra time in Sunday school. I'm not sure if I ought to be buying everything from their Bible. They've got a lot of things on. I didn't bring any of the others, but they've got one on the Beatitudes. They've got one on Easter. And you kind of have to watch what they tell you. But these,
sure.
This is really, really good. It's really good. So I'll leave these up here and you can look at them. Then when I was preparing for this, I came across this thing that I made, I'm sure. My mother saved everything. In probably about 4th or 5th grade, because the writing, first of all, that's a typewriter, which you all know nothing about. And secondly, I just put some pages together. You can tell that's very immature, so there's my name. So I was still printing, so I don't know for sure what age I was, but I have made some sheets for you, but I didn't run enough.
I can run to the printer if you like.
Okay, okay.